Arab summit since COVID in 2019. Houthis impose more restriction on telecommunications and ban messaging programs. Yemeni children continue to face acute malnutrition due to the ongoing conflict. Welcome to Yemen Today TV. This is the English News with me, Shahzad Abdelbey. Chairman of the Presidential Leadership Council went to Algeria to participate in the 31st session of the Arab Summit Conference. The Arab Summit opened today in the Algerian capital with the attendance of two-thirds of the Arab leaders and low representation of 5 other countries, while the Syrian seat continued to be frozen. The last Arab Summit was held in 2019 in Tunisia, while the years 2020 and 2021 were postponed due to the corona pandemic. Political sources confirmed that the team of the UN Security Council Sanctions Committee on Yemen is going to arrive on Friday in the Egyptian capital Cairo to meet with the Yemeni political actors. According to the sources, the UN team is going to discuss with Yemeni political figures procedures for lifting sanctions on some Yemeni personalities, including in the sanctions under Resolution 2216 and Resolution 2140 issued by the UN Security Council. In Lash, clashes between Houthis and the government forces renewed amid Houthi bombing of citizens' homes with various types of weapons. In addition, according to the sources, the military forces of the 10th Brigade stopped the Houthi attempt to penetrate the front lines. A civilian was killed and another was injured in a landmine explosion in Ma'rib. In Hudaydah, 2 children got killed in a similar incident. The Yemeni landmine monitor stated that in the past 72 hours, many casualties were recorded in separate areas. The International Organization for Migration said the number of displaced people decreased last October by more than 21% compared to the previous month. According to the IOM, only 203 families were displaced at least once in October, which is a decrease of about 22% compared to last September.
Yemen. The worst famine the world has seen in 100 years. Right now, over 8 million people are facing starvation. Since the beginning of the war, 85,000 children have died due to the lack of food. We cannot allow this to continue. The Yemeni people can't wait.
Academic sources at Sana'a University stated that the Houthi rebels have raised the fees of midterm exams. The Houthi militia had raised the fees of exams in the Mar College of Medicine before. The telecommunications sector has been under the Houthi control since 2014. This report has more details.
Local sources in the Yemeni capital Sana'a confirmed that the Ministry of Communications in the government of the terrorist Houthi militia has banned special programs for instant messaging. The Houthi militia banned the popular communication program Zoom and other programs such as Imo and Google Deo. Specialists stated that the Houthi group is practicing unprecedented force in the telecommunications sector in general, as it's the sector that the group still controls over all regions of the Republic. An independent Yemeni initiative recently revealed information and documents about the extent of Iranian interference in the telecommunications sector in Yemen, as it's being harnessed for the benefit of the Houthi group in the intelligence, investment, and financial aspect. The Regaining Yemeni initiative issued a report stating that the Houthis use telecommunications as a tool of war, not a service. The communication sector constitutes one of the most important financial and logistical resources for the Houthi militia in order to continue their war against the Yemeni people, in addition to harnessing communications in its crimes and violations against opponents. And it's used to violate the privacy of citizens by spying on their communications and monitoring their movements with the aim of blackmailing and suppressing them in order to serve its tendencies, ideas, and beliefs. The Houthi militia is using telecommunication services as a tool of its media discourse by blocking websites and applications and forcing citizens to follow the militia's websites and news, and harnessing the large revenues of the telecommunications sector to finance its war. Since their invasion of the capital Sana'a in September 2014, the Houthi militia has exploited the capabilities of the state and its institutions, especially the Ministry of Communications and the Security Services, in order to impose censorship and spy on its opponents, and to practice arrests, kidnappings, and enforce disappearances based on wiretapping operations and phone messages of citizens.
The United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization announced that Norway increased its contribution to the emergency plan by more than $9 million. FAO added that the contribution is going to strengthen the organization's response to emergencies in many countries of the world, including Yemen. Yemeni children continue to bear the brunt of the conflict. About 2 million under the age of 5 suffer from acute malnutrition across the country. This report has more details.
The consequences of the war in Yemen are a nightmare that hunts live, as it has directly contributed to the growth of poverty and diseases, as malnutrition is a ruthless virus and its victims are many. Hais Rural Hospital, which is located in south of Hodeidah, is a vivid example of the tragedy. Dozens of children show up every month, coming from remote areas, who have been suffering from hunger, sharing beds for treatment and survival.
The inpatient department of Hais Rural Hospital receives nearly from 20 to 25 cases per month, all of which are cases of malnutrition with complications, and they are being treated by medical solutions and medicines, and doing the necessary examinations for them. Furthermore, we receive some cases from different provinces due to the harsh circumstances during the war.
Since the war that the Houthis started, children's medical condition has been deteriorating before their parents' eyes. It sentenced their childhood and their rights to death. Among these victims, this child, with his ailing body, trying helplessly to take his breath with his light weight to prove to the whole world that he is the youngest human being to resist malnutrition.
In the nutrition department, there is a huge shortage of medicines. We hope that the authorities provide these medicines as soon as possible. There is also another issue, which is the delay of bonuses for medical staff. We hope that the responsible authorities be interested in this department in terms of technical, medical, and catering aspects.
Young people paid the cost of the war in advance. They have been suffering from poverty and hunger since their early years, and severe malnutrition. According to the United Nations estimations, more than 500,000 children in Yemen are in critical condition as a result of malnutrition. Besides, there is also the displacement crisis, as thousands of families continue to suffer in the camps of Hodeidah, along with a complete inability to secure food. Children with their cylinder bodies remain starving while the situation in Yemen alters amid expectations of a return to fighting and the continuation of the violence, the majority of which are victims of simple citizens.
Last September, more than 45 children were injected with a killing cancer treatment at Kuwait Hospital in Sana'a, which led to the death of 20. This report has more details.
Smuggled medicines that violate manufacturing standards are spreading widely in Yemen. They are fatal, ineffective, and exacerbate the conditions of patients. 19 Yemeni families whose children were attending treatment at Pediatric Leukemia Treatment Center in Kuwait Hospital in the capital Sana'a developed complications after taking a contaminated dose of medicine, according to official accounts. 20 of them died, and others were transferred to intensive care. Information obtained by the media indicated that the case wasn't only related to cancer patients, as one of the children registered in the death list in the same hospital wasn't a leukemia patient. As to the Yemeni Ministry of Health in Sana'a, it is stated that the deaths were due to a drug that was smuggled to a private pharmacy without being subjected to the procedures of the Supreme Committee of Medicines. Official statements issued by the Ministry of Health, controlled by the Houthi rebels, confirmed that the tests conducted on the samples proved that the medicine was contaminated with deadly bacteria and led to severe meningitis in children. Regardless of whether the death at the Kuwait hospital in Sana'a was the result of a drug, government data agreed that the drugs were smuggled, which drew attention to the phenomena of smuggled and counterfeit medicines.
Coming next in the news. War and government neglect damage Yemen's archaeological sites.
نزحنا من نزحة وانهم فوقنا هدموا بيوتنا. نزحت أنا وأنا بنتي بنت 7 أشهر اللي على زوجي. بعدها تم أنا من نزح في نزوح. وقبل الفريق معرض منه. صيحنا لزوجي وسار وداه منه. سار مخيم. وقبل الفريق اللي هنا وأنا وجيعي في الخيمة. وعانني البنات ودني العلاج. ساعدني لما دخلني الشبكة. طولي علاج فيتامينات. جاتنا الأمطار. دخلت السيول وأنا والده. دخل السيل ما دهنت بالسيل له تحتي وأنا والده. ما قالت لي إلا يومين.
ولا عاد حتى قدرت أشيل عيالي ما بلاتي يا بنت الصغيرة اللي ترضع شليتها وإحنا والله نحن حالتنا حالة وما عاد إلا شلونا من رفعونا لمكان عالي. ووصل اليوم جسنا لنا 3 أيام والله نحن في العراق وجاونا الفريق حقهم حق الاستجابة. والله ما قصروا قدموا لنا من كل شيء.
Welcome back. Houthi rebels organized a mass wedding ceremony in Sana'a, which was received local condemnation. Local sources confirmed that the rebels made the young men or grooms sign a pledging to move to the battlefronts after the end of the month of the wedding. Yemen has rich heritage and a number of archaeological sites that extend over decades. This report has more details.
These scenes represent the oldest human civilization known to Yemeni history in particular and the Arabs in general, as its establishment dates back to the 4th century BC. The Temple of Awam is the main temple of the god Al-Maq, the god of the state. It's about 10 kilometers from the capital Saba. The 8 columns stand tall from the eastern side of the temple. In front of the main entrance is a circular wall that accommodated the tourists to the temple. On the other side, about 600 meters to the west, is the Temple of Barron, the house of the moon god. The inscriptions also mention the intimacy between sun and flower, which are associated with Queen Balqis, the Queen of Saba.
As for Ma'rib Governorate, it has a leading role in establishing a lot of historic buildings, the most prominent of which is the Ma'rib Dam, which is famous for high technicality of its building. The monuments in the previous period are exposed to damage due to natural factors, including torrential rains and wind. In addition to looting and sabotage, and all of these factors contribute to the destruction of these monuments.
In a historic city that has always constituted an important historical dimension and a major center for trade caravans of incense, coffee, and other Arab products, the archaeological sites in Ma'rib face wide threats, including tampering with the contents of the temple by the visitors and throwing waste therein. in addition to the destruction of its contents, due to natural factors such as rain and winds, while ignoring the concerned authorities to put appropriate walls that protect these rare places from looting and extinction, and activating their role as a tourist for a long time.
We love to visit archaeological sites when they are in the proper and clean condition that we wish to see, away from negligence and irresponsibility by the concerned authorities.
The repercussions of the war were not limited to humans only, but also extended to the monuments, as archaeological monuments east of Maghreb face widespread neglect by the concerned authorities, which doesn't see any gains behind them to preserve them.
The real estate market in Yemen is witnessing a state of collapse and a significant decline in economic activity. Economic sources said the dealings in the real estate market decreased significantly as a result of the deteriorating economic conditions and the ongoing war. Yemeni government signed with Saudi Arabia agreements for executing 12 water projects using solar energy. This report has more details.
The Yemeni government has signed in Aden with Saudi partners 12 agreements for potable water projects using solar energy technologies in 3 governorates. The agreements will also improve the quality of life for Yemenis in 5 governorates. They come in a tripartite contribution from the Saudi Program for the Development and Reconstruction of Yemen, the Arab Gulf Program for Development, and the Sila Foundation for Development. Saudi Arabia said it has made qualitative contributions in meeting the needs of various basic and vital sectors in Yemen. It stressed its keenness to unify efforts to achieve a stable and prosperous future for Yemenis. Water challenges in the war-torn country are posing a huge block to the well-being of Yemenis as well as the process of development. The Yemeni government, along with regional and international partners, are looking for improving the standard of living of the Yemeni people and their daily life, especially in the field of water. The new projects will hopefully contribute to providing fresh and safe water resources with clean and renewable energy. The Saudi Program for the Development and Reconstruction of Yemen has implemented as many as 224 development projects and initiatives in various governorates to serve Yemeni people in 7 main sectors, which include education, health, water, energy, transport, agriculture, and fishery.
Here's a reminder of the main headlines. Algeria hosts first Arab summit since COVID in 2019. Houthis impose more restrictions on telecommunications and ban messaging programs. Yemeni children continue to face acute malnutrition due to the ongoing conflict. This is the end of the news. Thank you for watching.